しゃ。スイムジグはね、ほんといろんなところで使えると思うんですけど、僕ね、やっぱ好きなのはこういうめちゃくちゃヘビーカバー。で、ジグはね、もう表層で、もう自分でジグが見えるゾーンをずっと引いていくんですね。そうすると、バフって出てくるんだけれども、これがね、フログやってるよりも速いんですよ、スピードが全然。魚がいるかなーって探すときにはね、これ本当に典型的にこういうカバーの中って強いと思うんです。もちろん、ハードカバーもある程度通ってくるんですけれども、やっぱ圧倒的にね、ソフトカバーが、このルアーは強いですよね。それと面白い。でこれね、合わせのタイミングは人によって結構違うんです。バスプロの中にも一瞬落として送り込んでから合わせるって人もいれば、僕みたいにもう巻き合わせというかそのままもうすかさず合わせていっちゃう人も結構多いんですね。でこれだけはね、多分僕は好みにもよるし、その時の状況にもよるんじゃないかなとは思うんですけれども、僕はやっぱり比較的早め合わせをします。そうしないとね、ランディング率が下がるんですよね。お、出た、おっしゃ、おっしゃ、おっしゃ、出たね。いやいやいやいや、スイムジグに出てくれた。嬉しいね。ほら。いやー、スイムジグね、やっぱりああいうカバー、もうフロッグだよね。スピナーベイトというか、フロッグというか。嬉しい。いいのが出てくれた。ほら。ありがとう。バイバイ。いやー、いい出方したよね。バシュッだって。あのカバーのど真ん中だもんね。いやー、やっぱここまでカバーがヘビーになるとね、やっぱりスピナベも通さないし、まあフロークはもちろん使えるんですけれども、でもね、フログやるよりこっちの方が全然スピードは速いんですよね。
We are on the Arkansas River, Kerr Lake in Oklahoma, a phenomenal swim jig spot. The Open last year was won by Chris Jones, right over here, swimming a jig, the Booyah Mobster, which we're talking about today, and we have the Muddy Water Mob, the guys behind this jig. So we're going to talk about swimming a jig and break down this bait for you and why it's such an effective swim jig. So let's get this thing rolling, guys. Chris Jones, Open winner this past year, and then in 2013, boom. Let's talk about that. And it was predominantly your technique, especially this past year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's always tied on in my boat. You know, it's just one of those confidence deals. I mean, everybody goes back to their confidence when they're ready to bite, but that's definitely one of my favorite ways to catch them.
So this bait's got some history.
A lot of history.
A lot of history, going back to the 90s, early 90s maybe. And you guys, as the Muddy Water Mob, come to Booyah and said, hey, let's bring this swim jig, right? Talk about who it was designed by, how much tweaking you guys did, who else had a part of that. Let's give us a little bit of that information, because I think that's important to know the history of the jig and why it's so effective.
Well, it was originally a mouse head design, and that mouse head design is where what makes that jig so effective is it doesn't hang. It don't roll over like most swim jigs does. It's got a really good hook in it. 30-degree line tie. It keeps it from being, you know, hanging on the nose of it. And the way that mouse head designed, it just kind of flares off of it, and deflects really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, when I first started swimming the jig in the 90s, it was just a bullet head. and it would roll over like Chris was saying and hang up. And as it evolved and we got that mouse head brought to us, it totally took out, I mean, a lot of the hang-ups and the trouble that we had in the early going.
So that was back in the 90s. So that's 30, almost 30 something years of you guys perfecting this jig over time. And we're to a point now that we think we've got it right at Booyah. Compliments of the Muddy Water Mob, obviously. So, I mean, next to a bladed jig, it's probably one of the most popular techniques right now, not only in the tournament trail, but just the average everyday weekend guy that likes to go out and catch them because it's so much fun. As you're swimming that jig here on the river anyway, through the water willow, you can see that bite. It's almost like topwater fishing, you know? So let's talk about the jig itself.
You know, the head that we've created through Booyah, we put the gills on it to make it flare, moves a little bit more water, and that's just an evolution of the mouse head. From what I can see, it's a perfect jig head.
To me, the most important part of any bait you pick, it's being able to be efficient on the water. And if you're hung up one cast, that's one cast you may not catch a fish.
Yeah.
And that's what makes that jig separate from all the rest of it.
Cover-wise, too, you know, people think about swim jig, and typically guys think about, well, it's a grass technique, right? That's what most people look at it. That's not the case. Man, you can catch them on laydowns, you can catch them on stumps, you can catch them in brush,
Docks.
you know, docks, rocks, you know? So it's a multi-functional bait around various types of cover. Let's talk about the tie-in from the Muddy Water Mob. So let's talk about the mob and how that came about, because that's where the name come from, the mobster.
Well, it's just a group of guys. We all have the same common interest. We travel together. It's a very diverse group of guys. And
When you say diverse,
I'm talking,
like,
we've got machinists.
highway patrolmen,
We got troopers.
got the fuzz right here
We
with
got-
us.
We got troopers. We got truck drivers. We've got machinists, business owners. We're a really diverse group of guys, but we all share the same common interest.
Really, it's a brotherhood, you know, and we all have stickers on our boats and our trucks of the Muddy Water Mob, and people may not know who we are, but when they see that Muddy Water Mob sticker, they know it's a solid group of guys that if they need something, that they can stop or wave us down, or we're gonna help them out. It's not just about fishing, you know.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. At least guys that are doing what you guys are doing, because everybody has a career. You know,
Right.
fishing's not the life. I mean, it's the life, but it's not what we do that pays the bills.
That's right.
You know, it's the weekend warrior fun thing that when you work all week, you go out and fish a derby and throw things like the mobster jig. And so that's kind of why, from Booyah, from our perspective, that's why we were so happy to be able to have a collaboration with the mob and develop this jig, because of the legacy that's behind this.
Right.
And then bringing such an effective swim jig to the entire market that was once kept a secret by all you mobsters.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like you say, the swim jig is no secret, but our swim jig, the way we work it, the way we designed it, was the secret, and that's you know, when we decided to bring this to Booyah, you know, people can get any swim jig they want, but if they're going to get the best, we might as well give them the best.
The work's been done. The head is designed perfectly. The weed guard, the size of the hook, everything's been done. All you've got to do is decide which trailer to put on.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time in seminars and stuff, where do I throw a swim jig? If you can throw a spinner bait, you can throw a swim jig.
Yeah. That's a
Absolutely.
good point.
I mean, you can throw a swim jig probably more places,
Yeah.
but you can throw a swim jig anywhere you can throw a spinner bait, and then some, pretty much.
Yeah. Swim jigging, fun techniques, shallow, deep, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. On behalf of Booyah and the guys at Booyah, we want to thank the Muddy Water Mob for collaborating with us and bringing this swim jig to the masses. I do think there's a partnership here, and I do think there's a future with the mob and Booyah, so you're going to see some more stuff coming from the two guys, so stay tuned.